Music icon Michael Jackson once shocked Paul McCartney by making a bold move involving the Beatles' legacy. The two legends had enjoyed a productive creative relationship, first working together on The Girl Is Mine for Jackson's groundbreaking 1982 album Thriller, and again in 1983 on Say 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 for McCartney's Pipes of Peace album. However, during one of their final collaborations, McCartney offered Jackson some advice on the business side of music, a move he would later come to regret. McCartney had explained that owning publishing rights was one of the most profitable aspects of the music industry. Jackson, reportedly amused, jokingly told McCartney that one day he would own his songs. At the time, McCartney didn't take the comment seriously until it unexpectedly came true. Back in 1963, Dick James, a newcomer in music publishing, was determined to work with the Beatles. To win over their manager, Brian Epstein, James arranged the band's first TV appearance on Thank Your Lucky Stars. He later proposed establishing a publishing company, Northern Songs, alongside Epstein, to manage the catalog of Lennon-McCartney songs, as well as contributions from George Harrison and Ringo Starr. According to Beatles Bible, McCartney later admitted that he and John Lennon signed the contracts without fully understanding their implications. He confessed that they had no idea song ownership was even possible. Unlike tangible possessions like cars or houses, songs didn't seem like something that could be owned, and this naivete made them easy targets for publishers eager to profit. At the time, McCartney and Lennon had requested to set up their own company and were told they could, leading them to believe they would retain full ownership. In reality, the agreement gave 49% of Northern Songs to Lennon, McCartney, and Epstein, while 51% went to Dick James and his business partner, Charles Silver. By 1965, the company had been restructured. Lennon and McCartney each held 15%, with the remaining shares split among Dick James Music, Silver, James's family, and NEMS Enterprises. Harrison and Starr held just 1.6% combined. In 1968, Harrison and Starr decided not to renew their contracts with Northern Songs. The following year, tensions rose when Dick James sold Northern Songs to media mogul Sir Lou Grade of ATV, without giving the Beatles a chance to purchase it themselves. This decision cost Lennon and McCartney control of the rights to many of their biggest hits. Then, in 1985, a major portion of the ATV catalog, including approximately 250 Beatles songs, was put up for auction. Jackson purchased the rights for $47.5 million, outbidding McCartney. George Harrison, speaking to CNN in 1988, expressed surprise at the sale, especially considering Jackson's apparent friendship with McCartney. Harrison pointed out that while he only had a handful of songs in the catalog, he would have preferred to pass them on to his son rather than see them under Jackson's ownership. After the purchase, Jackson reportedly compared the value of the Beatles' catalog to that of priceless artwork, saying it was beyond monetary value. Despite this sentiment, he showed no interest in selling the songs back to McCartney, which eventually caused a rift between the two. Appearing on The Howard Stern Show, McCartney shared that he had written to Jackson multiple times in hopes of repurchasing the rights, but Jackson continually refused. McCartney admitted it was frustrating to be asked to pay enormous sums for songs he had written for free decades earlier. Ultimately, McCartney would have his chance to reclaim the rights. As Jackson faced growing financial difficulties, he sold 50% of ATV to Sony for $95 million. Following Jackson's death, Sony assumed full ownership of the catalog, including the Beatles songs. In 2017, McCartney reached a settlement with Sony ATV under the U.S. Copyright Act of 1976, which permits artists to reclaim the rights to their work 35 years after transferring them. This allowed McCartney to finally regain control over much of the Beatles' legendary catalog.